Hello world. I have decided that I'm going to do a review, recap, whatever show based on Celebrity Apprentice this season. And I have a lot to catch up on, so this video I'm just going to quickly go over as many important things as I feel I need to. Okay, so I'm on Wikipedia right now and I'm looking at, just to remind myself of all the people who have been eliminated. Um, and yeah, I'm just going to tell you. I mean, the first week is not even worth talking about. Pointless to even mention it. Cheryl Teagues was the obvious elimination. Victoria Gotti, so obvious she should have been gone in the first week. If they could have taken out Cheryl and Victoria in the first week, that would have been great. Um, George Takei being eliminated in the third week. I love George Takei, but he was clearly not effective. Adam Carolla was an asshole and an idiot, so goodbye. Michael Andretti didn't utilize his star power properly, didn't give the company what they wanted. Obviously, he needed to go, and he wasn't offering anything. Nobody even, I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but I had no idea who the fuck he was. Um, Tia Carrere, too quiet, didn't really have any ideas. Patricia should not have gone. That's one that I don't agree with, but for the task, she was the one who should have been fired. But it would have been better if they had fired Diana because Patricia is much more useful. Debbie Gibson needed to go from the beginning. I cannot listen to her continue to try and string along her 80s music career. I don't want to listen to her anymore. I did not want to see her anymore after the first 30 seconds I saw her in the first episode. No, I just couldn't put up with her bullshit. She had to be center of attention all the time. She thought she was some beautiful model or something when she's like 45 years old. Get over yourself, bitch. Your career's done. Just go live on a farm somewhere. Anyway, but there's a market for her music somewhere. Dee Snider, well, yeah, okay, so now we're up to the more recent episodes. Okay, so one thing that I really want to talk about, because it really bothers me and it really pisses me off still to this day, when I first started watching this show, I came into it thinking that, number one, Aubrey O'Day was going to be a stupid idiot and a useless, just a useless dumbass. And I was like, okay, get her out of there, first episode, get her gone. And then when they said Lisa Lampanelli, #1 female comedian in America, I was like, hell no, have you never heard of Miss Kathy Griffin? Like, I'm sorry, no, Lisa Lampanelli is not the #1 female comedian. Anyway, not even by the gays definition, no. Anyway, but I was really surprised to see that Aubrey was actually really intelligent and had so many creative and great ideas. And believe me, I came into it wanting to hate her. I came into it thinking like, oh, she's an idiot. Like, she doesn't even deserve to be there. She's just trying to get publicity because she's a fame whore and all this stuff because she has her reality show and all this stuff, right? So I came in with my preconceived notions, but she totally proved me wrong. And she has been so amazing on the show. She has done so many great things. She's come up with so many amazing ideas, and she's been right so many times. And people say that Clay Aiken, I think, said that her best talent is defending herself, but that's because she always has valid arguments. Like, nobody's falling for a fake argument that's just built around defending someone oneself. I mean, she always has a valid argument, right? So anyway, one thing I really wanted to touch on was the whole blow up with Arsenio Hall. And I came into the show really thinking that I was going to really like Arsenio Hall because he's quite a likable character. I mean, to be honest, I didn't really know who he was before the show. I'm sorry, I'm just ignorant on that. But at the beginning of the show, I was like, wow, Arsenio seems like really funny, really nice, really laid back, and just really interesting and a really kind individual. So when he started saying shit about Aubrey behind her, like when he hadn't even worked directly with her, I was kind of like, oh, that's kind of fishy because he's clearly acting on preconceived notions of her. Okay, so I was like, that's not really a very mature thing to do. I mean, um, it's kind of ignorant to just start talking about how this person is like worthless when you don't actually know anything about them because you haven't worked with them. And Clay, of course, jumps on the bandwagon because we know Clay was a closeted homosexual for a very long time. So clearly, when he's around straight men, he wants to be accepted. So he'll jump on with whatever they're saying just to be one of them. Okay, and that's honestly, as a gay person, I feel like I can make that judgment because I've lived that life before, and I feel like that's what he does, and I think it's really sad and pathetic. And anyway, not that he's not a strong player in his own right, but when Aubrey came onto their team, they really didn't give her a chance at all. Like from the get-go, they were already like rolling their eyes at her at anything that she suggested. They're not paying attention to the good things that she's bringing to the table. They only focus on the negative. And then in the boardroom, Arsenio freaked out and he didn't even have a point. Everything that Aubrey said in the boardroom was 100% true. She said that she wrote the quotes, not Arsenio's, but she wrote all of the other ones. And she was telling Lisa because her and Lisa obviously have a rapport. They're friends. So why wouldn't she say like, "Oh, I wrote those," just to converse with someone that she's friends with? Like I think any person would do that when your friend says like, "Oh, I really like this," and they didn't even know it was yours, and then you say, "Oh, I did that," because people just do that. I mean, that's not an abnormal thing to do. She wasn't taking credit for everybody else's work. She was taking credit for the work that she did. She wrote those quotes, and she did help Arsenio with his quote. So I mean, it was just absurd to me that he freaked out over it and started calling her a bitch and a whore. And he said, "Oh, I would never let a bitch talk to me like that." And clearly, when he said a bitch, he was talking about women in general. He wasn't just talking about Aubrey. So I found that to be really shocking that he would say something like that. And and then he said that, "Oh, I Googled her and she had a naked picture with a gut hanging out." And I'm like, okay, well, you could Google Diana Mendoza and you can see what comes up because there's a hell of a lot more naked and bikini pictures of Diana than there is of Aubrey. So you can knock yourself out with that, but nobody says boo about Diana. So anyway, more than I want to talk about, I think Lisa is fucking crazy. I don't like her at all. I think the stuff that she said about Diana and the stuff that she said about like other people, while sometimes true, has been way, 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 way over the top. I think she is probably going through menopause or something because she is extremely emotional, up and down all day long. She's crying, she's screaming, I mean, she's all over the place, right? So maybe it's sexist of me to say, but I really think she's going through menopause, like in an extreme menopause. Um, so I just think that she's going to. Sorry. I think she's gonna really like. Um, she's gonna go off the deep end, I think, in the next episode or something. I mean, I just think that she's totally fucking crazy, and I'm not about to be on her side just because I like Aubrey, in this show, okay? Because I have to be honest, I think Lisa is totally fucking crazy. Even though she has a lot of creative ideas, she is so, so negative, and it doesn't help anybody, and it's really, really harmful to people around her. And I mean, to say that you like someone personally and then call them fucking useless, I mean, that's not nice, and I think it's really absurd for her to do that. But anyway, I do think in this past task this week that it was right for Lou to be fired because Lou is a fucking idiot. He never brings anything to the table, and he tries to take credit for things that he wasn't really suggesting. Like when Donald commended them for having the phone in the shot where they were using the app, that's not what Lou was suggesting. Lou was suggesting the logo to be in the shot when she was using the phone, and he didn't really communicate the idea properly if that's what he was trying to suggest. Because when I was watching it, I was like, why would you do that? But I have an iPhone app, and I have like instructed the direction of one of these videos before that shows my iPhone app. So I know that you need to show the app in action, but that to me was not what Lou was suggesting. He was suggesting to have a logo in it. And he got in a whole fit about not being in the commercial. There was no role for him. What's he gonna play? Grace's boyfriend? He's 3 times her age. Grace Helbig, Daily Grace, who was on Celebrity Apprentice this week, which was amazing. Anyway, I just thought that he was totally ridiculous this week, and he has been so useless in so many tasks. Like, I just think it was time to let him go. And then when the heat gets turned up on him, he starts talking about the hearing problem. No, that doesn't fly with me because for the whole time he had no problem understanding anybody. And then when he's about to get kicked off, he's like, I have a hearing problem. And it's like, no. You can't use that as an excuse when it hasn't been a problem for you throughout the whole competition before this time. Because he knew he was going home. And that was just bullshit to me. And saying that he liked the other team's video more was just idiotic. And personally, I didn't like the video more. But I was happy that they won because I knew that if they didn't, Aubrey would probably somehow get ganged up on and they would get rid of her just because they have their preconceived notions about her and they don't like her. So anyway, I have heard though people say that Lisa doesn't like Diana because Diana's so beautiful or whatever. But I find that to be absolutely ridiculous because Aubrey is very beautiful as well. And I mean, I'm not a fan of Aubrey at all outside of this show. But she is a beautiful girl, so why would Lisa like Aubrey and not like Diana? Other than the fact that Aubrey is creative and smart and has ideas, and Diana largely does not. Although in this task, she was really great. And Lisa likes her this week. So clearly there's some correlation there. Anyway, I really just wanted to give my opinion on this because I've seen a lot of people say some really ridiculous things, and people who just blindly support Arsenio Hall because they have some preconceived notion about Aubrey that she's some whore or something, and they just don't like her because they perceive her sexual activity in some way. I mean, and I saw somebody else reviewing this thing who said that the charity should be ashamed to be associated with Lisa Lampanelli. And while I somewhat agree with that, I also think that the Magic Johnson Foundation should be ashamed to be associated with Arsenio Hall, who went on this gigantic rant and looked pathetic, and then called Aubrey a bitch and a whore. I mean, I think that that's shameful, really shameful, and I mean the things that Lisa have said are shameful as well. But you can't apply that standard to women and not apply it to men. So I think that sexism is so pervasive, and it really manipulates people's minds because it's so baked in there. Like, I catch myself thinking sexist things all the time because it's just ingrained in your head, but you just have to learn to neutralize things between sexes because it's not right to judge someone differently because they're a woman than you would if they were a man. So, yeah, anyway, I just wanted to recap it so far, and hopefully next week I'll be able to do another video about that episode. Oh, and Teresa is totally a useless idiot. I mean, and I knew she was going to be a total fucking idiot. I mean, when I heard she was on the show, sorry, I knew she was going to be a total idiot because she's not a smart person. She's just really stupid. And I don't mean to try and be superior or anything, but she's just really fucking dumb. Like, everything that she says is just so stupid, like so painfully stupid. She was okay this week, but she didn't win because of her leadership. I'm sorry, no. She won because of the people on her team, and that's all I'm going to say. She did not win because of her leadership, but I am happy she won because, I mean, it's good that she got to give something to her charity before she probably goes home next week, or the week after that, or whatever. She's definitely not going to make it to the finals. Anyway, thank you for watching, if you're still watching, and please leave a comment below. Maybe I want to see more people post their own videos and that's why I'm doing this. And yeah, I have a sty in my eye, so in case you're wondering, that's why it's kind of swollen. Although it's really going down now. So anyway, thank you for watching. Bye.